fundamental macroeconomic picture, how much of that do you involve in your analysis?
It doesn't really get involved in my analysis too much. It's more of an undercurrent. It's always there. It's always the backdrop. It's always the big story, and you always have to bring that into anything you do. You can never move too far away from what the fundamental picture is. The trouble is, it's so big picture. It's probably already priced in the market somewhere. So I don't tend to follow those stories too much. You know, you're living those stories, and I find that certainly the markets I trade, the FX, fixed income, the indices, the smaller stories matter. The big story is always there, and you're always constant with it.
So what are the building blocks of your trading approach in terms of macro?
Well, obviously understanding the big picture's number one, having a perspective on it. Thinking about where the market should be compared to where the market is. But again, that's highly subjective, and that leads an awful lot of people astray all the time. And I always take the belief that, you know, there's far better people out there that know more about where it should be than me, and they don't even get it right. So, you know, I'm not a stickler for that. I would say generally the setup of the market, how it's set up, whether, you know, sometimes there is a story. The dollar yen was a great story a couple of years ago. Everything seemed set for it to move a lot higher, and it exactly did that move. Those sort of stories are quite rare. But that was a great example of, there's times where the market is, you feel everyone's long and it can't go much higher and it has to come back before it go higher. So there were some great trades within that, and probably that was the most successful. The dollar yen's probably been the market more than anything else that's given me a lot of success over the last 2 or 3 years. Often there's not that many stories around markets that are that clear, and sometimes you've got to sort of try and understand what the setup is from the market at a much closer level. Again, speaking to people, get an understand of how they're, because everyone really speaks to everyone else, they'll have a view on the market. So you get an idea how the market's sort of positioned from speaking to people and looking at volume data, open interest. What are the common themes in the market? To be honest, I look for anomalies more than anything.
And what about your gut instinct? How much does that play?
Plays a big part. I think, you know, again, having done the job many years, you get a feel for whether a move can continue, whether it could break out, whether it's going to go ahead, or when you're wrong as well. It's something I think I've learned to trust over the years. I don't trust it fully, but it just sometimes gives me a little bit of insight that's generally worked quite well. Listen, the markets are, there's thousands of people out there, hundreds of thousands, all trading the same market as you. They've all got the same knowledge, they've all got the same information, they've all got the same data. And they're all pretty bright as well. So how are you going to be better than them? If you've got a gut feel for something and it seems to be right, I'd say use it and go with it. You need checks in there, you need stops, you need process, you need management, you need that, because that's what gives you the edge, that's what can tip it just in your favour.